was doing MCQs from Sindh Academy Umerkot. They have like very good MCQs for MDCAT and those related competitive exams. So I'll make sure that I cover all of them. In last video we did for the enzyme chapter, which is from 11th class, but today I just got MCQs from evaluation. So I'll just make sure that I cover as many as possible for me. It might be like sequence might does not matter here. Okay, so let's start. The evaluation first question says prokaryotes first arise. So the right option is D, which means 3.5 billion years ago. Few things. This chapter is like memory based. Here you'll see some things which you need to learn them. So here this is 3.5 billion years. This means prokaryote were originated. Okay. If we say when was Earth formation happen? Earth formation that happened around 4.5 billion years ago. Okay, billion years ago. And when we talk about Big Bang theory, Big Bang theory was given 7 billion years ago. Okay, I hope it's clear. Second question say he was an advocate for Platonism. Now this is a memory based question. Every like scientist question you see, this means you need to learn them. So father Suarez is the right option. Charles Darwin, he did some other experiment. George Mendel, inheritance, everything like that. Okay, Darwin was simply told about the natural selection and those. The theory that accounts for the double membrane structure. So we have one theory for the double membrane structure that's called as endosymbiotic theory, that was given by Line Margulies. Okay, he told about that theory. This means in that we says this theory, they have two organelles like mitochondria and chloroplast. They both were engulfed by host cell. This means we just say those both are like make their own protein, but still like this means they have their own entire genetic material, everything. Okay, they were given by Land Margulies, and both mitochondria and chloroplast show similar features which prokaryotes have. Okay, then next question, landmark theory fails to explain. So the main reason which he fails was genetic variability, because this evolution means evolving, like how ancestors were there, now what's new in this era. So all these, so this means we could connect them by genetic genes like that, but he did not tells the main reason. Okay, which was genetic variability in a species. According to Darwin, overproduction of offspring lead to, so they lead to competition for limited resources. Limited resources, this means for suppose we have food, shelter, and even if in a family one new human being is made, like first one new child is there, so this means for that we need food, we need a little more shelter, more space. This means they have limited to the sources. This means the competition begins. Okay, so the B is the right option. This was told by Darwin. Endosymbiotic theory was proposed by, as I mentioned, he was Lion Margulis. So this is the right option. Let's go another page. Initially Carlos Linnaeus believed in, so he just believed in the like the 50 of a species, not natural selection. Natural selection was done by Aristotle, Darwin. Okay, genetic variation, George Mendel. Spontaneous generation, like this means the more formation and all. But the right option here is A. According to evolutionary concept, ribosome and mitochondria are similar those in, so these are similar in prokaryotes. Okay, ribosome and mitochondria due to symbiotic theory. Dash criticized landmark theory for lacking genetic bodies. That was August Weismann. He did another experiment. He did an experiment on like some kind of sperm cells or those. So at the time he noticed that the genetic bodies, those are missing. Okay, then he just after doing experiment on sperm and those things, he realized. So August Weismann was a scientist name. According to evolutionary concept, the first autotroph bacteria was sulfur bacteria. Sulfur and iron bacteria is like the first one autotrophic bacteria which was produced. Darwin finches adapted differently due to geographical isolation and varied food sources, because it depends from the location to location. I mean, Darwin, he told Darwin theory of a special creation. No, I think this was told by Carlos Linnaeus. Sorry, my bad. Darwin finches here. Right option is B. Just understand geographical isolation. The early bacteria develop anabolic mechanism. Why? Because due to depletion of energy-rich compounds. This is the right option here. Let's go to another. Darwin's observation on finches. Galapagos Iceland showed variation in beak size shape. Yeah, I mean there was a little difference. That's why these questions might be a little blurred because these are screenshot. They do not provide directly. So I'm just making video to make the concept a little clearer, which could help you. The major evolutionary concept that allowed bacteria to use sunlight was photosynthesis. In this process, we do have like carbon dioxide from environment has been taken, and water which we provide to plants, then they form glucose for themselves, and they their byproduct is oxygen which we inhale. Okay, so photosynthesis is the right option. According to endosymbiotic theory, mitochondria evolved from ingested aerobic bacteria prokaryotes. Okay, Landmark was criticized because it proposed changes in somatic cells. Somatic cells means which can replicate themselves. A main evolutionary concept excluded. Theory of special creation was common ancestor. Okay, theory of special creation was given by Carlos Linnaeus. Okay, the Darwin theory of evolution is based on natural selection. It's very important, you need to learn this. The primary source of energy for early forms were simply complex food which are present in environment like water, some other plants like that. According to Darwin's, the descent with modification refers to, it generally refers to gradual accumulation of adaptation from common ancestors. The core belief of the theory of evolution is simply organisms change progressively from simple to complex forms over time. Even evolution chapter is based on this. I mean, how earlier one human being was there, they do not prefer wearing clothes, they do so much hairs, they do eat by like getting making fire or like that. So this means it's just how life have evolved from ancestor like Big Bang theory 7 billion years ago, then Earth formation 4.5 billion years ago, then prokaryotes were formed 7.5 billion years ago. So like this, the phenomena of natural selection, it simply consists on like axion population. uh, it proved the diversification of respiratory mechanism in early birds. It is the right option. Need for some efficient energy. So according to Darwin's survival, the best fit is organism best adapted to environment to reproduce more. So according to the environment, they need to reproduce more and all that function. Aspects of evolution which was most controversial from religious perspective was evolution of man, because it's already written in some religious books as well. According to Darwin, intraspecific struggles refer to the competition which happened within the some species. The early autotroph initially depend on inorganic substance like sulfur and iron. Why? Because complex organic foods were made were depleted from here. Darwin's theory of evolution advanced that all life shares a common ancestor and change over time. This is the definition of evolution. There's a life which was common in ancestor, but gradually with time it all changes. The first scientist to implement geological time scale was George Buffon. He simply told about geological scale, which means it just consists of geological time scale. Simply says like how time with like time how ancestor formed everything, information about earth, rocks, everything comes in the geological scale. So this chapter few particular things like when does prokaryote arise, like this, who discovered theory of special creation, natural selection, and one of the important MCQ is also this one, who discovered geological time scale, that was George Buffon. According to evolutionary concept, the nucleus likely evolved from membrane invagination. That's why it's a double membrane organelles. Okay, endosymbiosis is something else. Endosymbiotic theory, which is different. Okay, the main drawback of landmarkism is a scientist who did like few things in, he basically told theory of evolution, but it was just like kind of a mouth words. He did not do any experiments, so no experimental support, only he left that. According to Darwin, the tree of life, which is simply common ancestor and branching diversity. So even in our earlier life during school time, we do make tree of life. This means if this is our grandfather, then our parents, then we, and then other like children's like that. So it's just common ancestor and branching diversity. This is also called tree of life, how one evolved, how are other forms from that. Okay, then is Malthus' ideas inspired Darwin's concept of natural selection by suggesting overpopulation, which lead to the competition. Yeah, this was done by Darwin, limiting resources. As I mentioned, if one new member in a family comes, this means there will be limiting of the source and everything. James Hutton is primarily known for proposing the Earth geological process, which have always operated uniformly. Okay, find the right choice about geological Hatton's concept. He just said geological changes require vast amount of time, and yeah, there's a huge difference. Like billion years ago, one theory, then different. Okay, Earth was not this year. Earth was simply formed by 4.5 billion years ago. Darwin theory was first comprehensively published in a book. Yeah, Darwin. It was published on the origin of species. His first book was that, and Landmark published also. He published theory of evolution. Okay, few more. Chloroplast likely originated. Chloroplast simply like we have flasted. In that we have three things. First is a leucoplast, which means white type of cell. I mean no color, like pigment white. Chloroplast, which means green pigment, and chromoplast, which means red, green, some other. Like if you see example, if it's example of apple, if it's not completely red in color, this means a ripe fruit which is in green color. So this means it have chromoplast, not chloroplast. I mean like that. Okay, if it's green it have chloroplast, but if it's different red and all, then it's chromoplast. So this means they were arrived from cyanobacteria. It was the first bacteria originated. Okay, all the following are component of natural selection. Natural selection, yeah, overproduction of offspring, the struggle for existence because there was a limiting resources, genetic variation. But inheritance of acquired traits, no, it wasn't. The phrase survival for the fittest later associated Martha's ideas on population. The struggle that involves coping with the droughts or floods is environmental, because all these floods happens with the climate change and all these environment problems. Charles Lyell's principle of uniform describe the geological process in the past were the same as operating today. Basically this topic is not which I need to tell everything in detail and everything. It's just few things who gave endosymbiotic theory, few different questions. In this we also have like reptiles, blood birds are also called as archaeopharynx. Like this study of fossils is called as plantology. Like these type of question important. This is quite detailed, which I'm sure you'll never see in the MCQs, MDCAT like that. Just few which should be none. Okay, the landmark theory was proposed primarily because it lacked evidence inheritance. Charles Darwin, he died in 1882. Sometimes you'll get some memory based question like these, like in enzymes as well, who gave lock and key model, who gave induced fruit model, which year, what scientist. Okay, Darwin was more creative than natural science. Why? Because Darwin published first and provided more extensive evidence. So yeah, he did some kind of experiment, because Landmark didn't, but he did. Okay, it is suppose the term fitness in Darwin concept refers to reproductive success. It is supposed that life first originated on Earth was hypodermal vents. It's like few things. Hypo means hydro, like quite old, when crocodiles were there at the time when Darwin's book on the origin of species was published in 1859. The concept the small gradual change over time was given by graduation lines and Hutton's influence. Still we have few questions. I just make sure complete them together. Charles Darwin was an English biologist who learned this. Landmark inheritance acquired characters disapproved by August and Westman, because he did an experiment by that. He told Dash induced Darwin's style logical theories. He was Captain Robert Fitzroy, Charles Darwin's best known for his work. This is very important. Charles Darwin, you need to learn. He did like theory of evolution by natural selection. Okay, Darwin and Aristotle. Natural idea that organism can change their traits through effort is called Lamarckism. Malthus, an essay of the principle of population, human population. So long questions. By the way, the core destination of Darwin on HMC Beagle was South American, and this scientist, I think we are on the last page. A landmark theory is also known as inheritance of acquired characters. So yes, concept was not proposed by Darwin. Darwin told common ancestor, natural selection, decent modification, but he did not told anything about genetic drift or generation. Darwin's well-known voyage was uh, like proposed 5 years maybe on HMC Beagle persist for it was like 5 years long. Hutton works late for Lil's information and informationism. The evidence supports both mitochondrial chloroplasts that simply they were single circular DNA. All prokaryotes have like this single circular, otherwise very linear kind of DNA is 3.4 angstrom long. Darwin's theory was most inclined combination of ideas. D. Okay, the process does mitochondria and chloroplasts share with prokaryotes binary fusion because that's common in them. Before developing his theory of evolution, Darwin primarily studied to become a precise and the multinuclear eukaryotic life arose from colonial forms of positive, the group of bacteria that can survive extreme temperature of hydrothermal vents. There were archaeobacteria. Archaeobacteria was like the first, second, very important MCQs is either reptile plus birds were called as archaeopharynx, but archaeobacteria is a form of bacteria. Cyanobacteria, which we have sulfur, eubacteria is something else. The example does not align with landmark theory. He told finches evaluating dark modes, and but he does not tell a bodybuilder children inherited strong muscles. No, it's not important. Matthew's theory of help Darwin realized that only strongest individuals survive to reproduce. Yeah, not everyone can does. So yeah, these were all MCQs for evolutionary. I hope you got it. This is simply a memory-based chapter. You need to learn few things. Like I could just write for you Big Bang theory. Big Bang given 7 billion years ago. Earth formation. Earth formation 4.5 billion years ago. Okay, and prokaryotes, which were 3.5 billion years ago. Like this, evolution have like two theories. This video has already been a little long, but I hope you would watch it. Darwin and natural selection. This is Darwin theory of special creation given by Carlos Linnaeus, and like this geological scale was given by George Griffin. Biomolecules were bionomenclature, very important. Bionomenclature was given by Carlos Linnaeus. Theory of evolution was given by Landmark, and theory of uninformative given by James Hulton. Okay, and pouch-like animals like kangaroo, that these type of animals are called as marsupials. Like these are the basic MCQs which are important for this chapter, not literally these all, but it's just it was a test conducted by them where so many students got confused, so I just tried to complete. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you like this series.